Hello everyone, good evening. Good evening and welcome to day one of our machine learning operations with AWS Masterclass. Good evening. Good evening, dear participants. Very good evening. Can I get some response in the chat box? Good evening. Dear participants, good evening and welcome to our day one of machine learning operations with AWS Masterclass. Good evening. I hope I am audible and I hope you can see my screen. Is everything fine? We can start with the session. Good evening, guys. So this is day one where we are going to discuss about the introduction of cloud service, machine learning operations, what is the need for moving towards this. So we'll be seeing that, as well as we'll be moving towards account creation and then starting with like agenda and all. We'll be discussing that. Good evening, guys. Very good evening. So can I get few more response? You can like this session. You can post some emojis like fire emoji. Give some fire in the chat box so that we can start with the session. And throughout this entire masterclass, keep the session more interactive. Okay. So please post down the comments, and whenever I ask some questions, please interact with me in the chat box. So in that way we can take this in a more entertaining way. So I hope we can start with the session. Good evening. So starting with the introduction, our mission and vision. What is Pantech? We are a e-learning division. We are founded on 2004 and we share our 20 years of expertise via edutech platforms, and our vision and mission is to help 10 million students to learn the technology in easy way. And Pantech was started by 4 engineering graduates, and now we are expertise in domain areas such as products and services in edutech domain with 100 plus direct team and direct presence in TN, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and 350k followers in social media and 10k community members. And Pantech is also a partner with Intel FLK technology partner, custom product design, development boards, online or offline internship trainings, FDPs and STTPs. And what is this masterclass? This is a 21 days industrial learning activity, and it is an online YouTube live class. And if you invest 45 minutes daily, you will become a master and you will get e-certificate. And how to mark your attendance in YouTube live class. So during the live class, organizer will post Google form link in live chat only. This is important. So there should be some proof that you have attended this session, right? So how to mark your attendance in YouTube live. So during the live class, at some part of time, the organizer will be posting the Google form link in the live chat only, and it will be available for some time. After that it will be removed, and these YouTube videos will also be removed in 3 days. So you have to attend the session, and whenever the organizer is posting the attendance link, you make sure you are filling that, okay, and make sure you watch the entire session. It can be given at any point of time in this session. So that is attendance marking. And we have masterclass, a 1 month learning programs on Python, advanced Python, full stack, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, Java programming, React, web development, and then into embedded systems, IoT, computer vision, Matlab, EV design, autonomous vehicle design, renewable energy, and so on. And welcome to Pantech family, and welcome once again to our session on machine learning operations with AWS, MLOps with AWS Masterclass. And we move into day one, and our first few days will be on AWS, okay, because that is the platform we are going to use for our machine learning operations. What is AWS? It is a cloud service provider. They provide a lot of services. So let us have a proper intro about cloud. Okay, can you guys post down in chat box what do you have in mind when you discuss about cloud computing? What is cloud computing? You can post your answers in chat box. What is cloud computing? Any idea from your side? And I have some funny stories for cloud computing as well. After some contents, I have a few scenario which can happen, and that's what the advantage of cloud computing. I'm going to tell a small story. Okay. Online service. Apart from that, any other online server? Very good. Any more? Remote services, good. It is a storage unit. Yes. Internet database, it's a big server. Computation is done on cloud. Service over the internet, very good. Service over the internet, it saves our files in the cloud, very good. So these are some of the definitions which are very close to the actual definition, and those who guys got it correct, a big applause for you guys. So we move into what is cloud computing. So according to AWS, they have given a definition. So I picked that one of the best definition for cloud. So cloud computing, just read this sentence and we are going to split it into different parts. Okay. So cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. Very good. Okay. So what is that? Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery. Whenever you have a demand, okay, it is given through the internet. What is given? IT resources. Whenever there is a demand on IT resources, whenever there is a requirement, it is given via the internet. Okay, with pay-as-you-go pricing, which means whatever you need, you can use it through internet, and you will be paying for what you use. That is cloud computing. Okay, got it? So cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. Maybe let us have a scenario. You are a startup company owner, or you are an entrepreneur who are planning to start a web application or an e-commerce website. Okay, so you are planning to create an e-commerce website like Amazon. You are going to have your own application. You are going to manage this business where the clients can like register their goods there, and the customers can come to your site and they can register or they can buy things from your site. Imagine this. Fine. Now for creating this, for having your application to run, you need a server. Okay, so you will be having your team. So that team will be working. Maybe you have a lot of developers, you have marketing team, you have content creation team. So you mainly have some developers who created the application, and you need a server to run your application. So you have that server physically in your office. So what is this server? Server is something like a component. Okay, consists of, it's like a computer which is going to host your application, interact with the client and the server. And the components of server are something like, for PC, what do we have? We have CPU, we need RAM, we have HDD or SSD storage, we need motherboard, we need power supply unit, we need internet supply, we need cooling system, we need GPU. So all these things will be a component of server. Okay, so you have a physical server. Maybe you have invested some amount, you have bought this server and you are keeping it in your office. So what happens is, okay, so you have created and your application is running fine, and some customers are visiting your site, you have some dull in the load, people are doing that, fine. So what you do is, looking at Amazon, you are going to mimic them as well. So you are going to give something like a big billion sale. I hope that's from Flipkart, right? So something like that, you are going to give a sale, and on that particular day you are giving lot of offers. So what happens is, suddenly on that day there are lot of customers accessing your site, and you would see this peak happening. Maybe you would have seen it something like if you try to book the Tatkal ticket in IRCTC, or if you have tried to book IPL tickets recently in Paytm and all, you would have seen that the app will crash. Why it happens is, when this server actually has some limitations. Okay, they have a limit. So till that limit they can handle the load. If the number of customers are going high, or if the number of people visiting your site is high, they have a limitation, and what happens is your server will crash. So what you have to do is, you will go and you will buy few more server for that particular time. You are going to buy few more server, keep it in your office. Okay, server, which means CPU, RAM, you are increasing its capacity. Okay, so what happens now, even the peak goes high, you can manage with these 4 servers, fine. And then what happens is, after this big billion sale, your load is going to come back to its normal state, and what happens is just one server will be working and remaining don't have that much load, so they will be simply sitting in your office. Okay, they don't have that much work to do. Then okay, suddenly if you have few more, like you are going to announce the next year, you are going to announce another big billion sale and the load goes high beyond this 4, so what you are planning, you are buying few more, but after this you won't be having anything. So this is a disadvantage of on-premise storage. Server will be busy, yes, this is a disadvantage. Why? Because you see, this is a graph of load. Let us consider this is the graph of your load. You can see at some point of time it is going to a peak. Okay, every month you are having over the year, and at some point of time you are having a dull in that load. Okay, so like this ups and downs are there, and this is a disadvantage of on-premise storage. Why? Because okay, when you are not using this, it is going to be there, but you have to spend, you have to allocate some maintenance for it. This is difficult just for a startup companies, or even for a huge company it will be difficult to manage. So that's where the cloud computing comes into play. So that is the advantage of cloud storage or cloud computing. And in cloud computing, what we do is we are going to utilize the cloud server. So as I told you earlier, cloud is nothing but okay, the on-demand delivery of IT resources via internet. You see guys, if you want to run your application, there should be some physical system to deploy. Like you need a server, but it's not like you have it or some service provider have it. Maybe if you go to a cloud service provider, what they do is they have something known as data center. Okay, so this AWS or some other like Azure or IBM, they have their data center, and especially there they are going to have lot of servers. Their task is to just keep server, they maintain it, they does this task. And what they do is for some renting, okay, via internet they are going to rent their server to you. Maybe if you need one server, let us consider we are not going into 1 GB or 10 GB or 1 TB. Generally I am telling, if you need one server for your time, you are going to rent one server, deploy your application and pay for one server. Okay, if you need 10 servers at that point of time, you are going to rent 10 server. So whenever you need, you will be paying for that 10 server, and whenever you don't need, you can go for some low end. So that is the advantage of cloud storage. Whenever there is a requirement, you can go and use it, or you can rent some high end, and whenever there is no requirement, you can go with some low end. So that is the advantage of cloud. It could be server, it could be storage, or it could be any other services as well. So before continuing, are we clear till now with the introduction of what is cloud service? Can I get some response in the chat box? Can I get some response? Yeah, good evening. Good evening guys. We are halfway through. Can we discuss about the types of cloud services? Can I get some response in the chat box? Are we clear till now? Yeah. So talking about the types of cloud service, like when I discuss about this types of cloud service, few of these points may not meaningful to you because we are just now beginning. Let me try to give it very simply. At the same time, if you are not completely getting this, then don't worry. By the end of this internship, you will be able to understand this entirely. Okay, talking about some specific details, you may understand a lot here. Okay, for example, there are 3 different types of cloud service. One is called as infrastructure as a service, another one is platform as a service, another one is software as a service. Okay, so one thing is on-premise, which means you are going to take care of it. Okay, on-premise is like you have it. Infrastructure as a service, software, platform as a service, software as a service. And this blue color is something like managed by you, and red color is managed by the cloud service provider. Okay, yeah, it's like you have your computers on the internet, that is cloud, but you need some physical system. Okay, fine. So when you go for on-premise, you are going to take care of everything, so that is something like on-premises. But if you go with infrastructure as a service, Okay, so that is some service where the cloud service provider is going to give you the infrastructure. So what is the infrastructure is they will give you hardware, the virtualization and networking, which means commonly in infrastructure as a service you will be getting the infrastructure, which is something like you will be getting OS. Okay, you will be getting, like, you can rent Windows or Linux through it, and it is your responsibility for this OS updates, configuring it, auto scaling, load balancing. It may be new for you, auto scaling, load balancing, but we'll be implementing in a couple of sessions after that. Okay, so they give you, like, for example, through internet they give you the system or the infrastructure, like they give you Linux or Windows or whatever OS you want. They give the software with the hardware details and all, so you can use that, but you are responsible for updating, configuring and using it. You can use it for whatever you want. Then you have platform as a service. When you go for platform as a service, okay, so the service provider, they, like the cloud service provider like AWS, they will take care of the infrastructure like the OS, auto scaling, load balancing and all, but you are responsible for configuring it and writing your application code and then storing it there, running it. So that is platform as a service. So here they take more responsibility. Your responsibility is reduced. You have to configure it and use your application. Then finally we have software as a service, and software as a service means the cloud service provider himself is providing the software. Something like Gmail is a software as a service because they have the software for Gmail. It is running on cloud, and what is your responsibility? You just need to configure and use it properly. Like you need to send mail or receive mail, you can work on it. So they will take care. We don't know, right? For Gmail, whether what hardware they use, we don't know. How do they balance the load? We don't know. What is the application code? We don't know. We get technical support from them, but our responsibility is just to use it. Okay, virtualization is something like deploying it in the cloud. Okay, so that all the three. So maybe you can get some summary of infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Okay, if you ask me what is the difference between infrastructure and platform, in infrastructure you get just the infrastructure. Maybe like you get Windows or Linux, then it's up to you to update it or use it and all. But if you go with platform as a service, they will take care of everything. You just need to upload your software there and use it. Okay, so maybe you have a software, you can go and implement it there and use it or deploy it to your clients. And if you go with software, you just need to use their software which they are giving, like Gmail. It could be Gmail or any other cloud applications which is given to the clients. So that is different types of cloud services. Are we clear with these three types? If we are clear, we can move further on machine learning, because AWS is a part. Machine learning operations is what we are going to achieve, and we use the cloud service here for achieving that. And we have a detailed plan. Please wait. Once completing these tasks, I'll be giving some contents on the agenda, our next 21 days plan. Yeah, so we move further, and you can see some of the leading cloud service providers are Google Cloud, AWS, Microsoft Azure, IBM Cloud, like you have Zoho now. A lot of cloud service providers nowadays available, and these are some of the leading top cloud service providers. Okay, so now moving into what is machine learning. Can you guys post down what is machine learning? What is machine learning? Yeah, so post down your answers. What is machine learning? What do you guess? What could be machine learning is called as? So when we talk about machine learning, we get some content, something like artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, data science. These are some related terms, but they are different. They are not completely equal. Okay, and what is the differences? If you look about AI is a thing which your program that can sense, reason, act and adapt. You are going to create an intelligent machine which acts like human, thinks like human, talk like human. okay, does everything like human, that if you create it in a computer or in a machine, that is artificial intelligence, that is the entire thing. But machine learning is something like a subset of AI. So machine learning helps you to achieve AI. So in machine learning, what we do is we create algorithms whose performance improve as they are exposed to more data over time. Okay, and what is deep learning is, it is a subset of machine learning, or you can call it an advanced version of machine learning. And these machine learning and deep learning are going to help you to achieve artificial intelligence. And in machine learning, this is what we simply do. We pick past data. Okay, so we pick the data, and the data, what we do is we do some processing, analyzation and all. So we do the data analysis and data pre-processing. After that, we go into give it to some machine learning algorithms. We have some algorithms for certain use case. We create this algorithm and we can make predictions, and this is used, machine learning is used in decision making. Okay, and talking about the types, you can understand what do they predict. Let us understand it a little bit inside. If you go inside, you can see the machine learning. Importantly, we have two types. One is supervised learning, another one is unsupervised learning. So in supervised learning, what I do is I create my model and my data has some labels. So consider this is my data. I have lot of shapes here. So this is the labels I have. Maybe I can tell that this is called a circle, this is called a square, and this is called as triangle. So once I have this, I can give it to my model. So this is nothing but a statistical tool. Okay, so this algorithm is a statistical tool. It gets the data, it performs some max and statistics. What it is performing, that is what we are going to see in the later part of this internship. And after learning, we can make prediction or we can get decision. So what we can do is I can pass a new shape here and ask it to give some answer, and it is going to give me whether it is circle or square or triangle. That is supervised learning. And in supervised learning, we have two types. We have something called as regression and something called as classification. So if your label is something like a continuous value where you are going to predict what is the temperature going to be tomorrow. Okay, so you are not predicting hot or cold here, you are predicting what is the exact value. So it's something like you are doing a physics problem, you are solving and calculating the final answer. It is a number. Okay, it is not this or that. And consider classification as something like a MCQ question. You have options, you can have yes or no, hot or cold, or you can also have something like circle or square or triangle, a 3 option MCQ, a 2 option MCQ. And this regression is something like you will be using it for salary prediction, temperature prediction, or a value which is not belonging to any category. If it's a continuous value, then it is regression, and this is classification. And our data has labels. Okay, but if you go with unsupervised learning, your data won't have label. So there is no labeled data here. You have some set of data. What this algorithm is trained is, it is trained to find patterns and group together into clusters. For example, once you train this on your model, it is going to find similar peoples together. See here, these two guys look similar, these guys look similar, these look similar, these look similar. So they have some similarities and differences. So that is found in unsupervised learning. So then what is ML ops? Many people may know machine learning. So what is machine learning operations? Can I get some response in chat box? What is the idea you have on machine learning operations? So I think this image is funny, right? It is doing some operation on the machine. Whether is that the meaning for machine learning operations? No, right? So machine learning operations is actually a combination of machine learning, DevOps, and data engineering. Okay, so data engineering and machine learning, they come together if you mix it with DevOps. So what is DevOps? Development operations. Okay, DevOps is something like if you work in a company, if you are a software developer, you would have known about this, because software developers, they create software, but like they will be creating for some clients. Okay, and they won't give this software directly to the client because they need to do some test, and training and test should be done. Why? Because this software may have some bugs inside of it. So over the time, they have to train it and they have to do some tests, continuously integrate it and continuously deliver it. CI/CD it is called, then only they can be sure of that this application is running smoothly, and then only they can give this software to a client. So if you apply that to machine learning, so we have machine learning model, and if you continuously integrate it and continuously test it on new data, so once you do it, you can fine tune your model. At the same time, you can monitor your model and you can give it to the client, and this is called as machine learning operations. And if you search for jobs on machine learning, it is few. And if you look at big companies, every company is now recruiting MLOps or machine learning operations engineer. That's what they are recruiting. They expect you to be trained on DevOps as well, combining with machine learning algorithm, that is machine learning operations. So once we create our model and once we make predictions, what we are going to do is we pick this model and integrate into a pipeline of continuous deployment and continuous improvement. This is a machine learning life cycle. So we collect the data, do pre-processing, training, validation and all. After that, we test our model, we deploy our model, we maintain and improve it. So for this process, okay, this is called as MLOps. To give it to the client, we also perform DevOps here, that is MLOps. And to do this, we need some infrastructure. We can't do it directly. So we need some applications and we need some area to do it. And that's where exactly we are going to utilize AWS. AWS is providing lot of services for machine learning, and for DevOps and MLOps, AWS have huge amount of services which we can utilize. So we are going to use AWS for our MLOps, and that is our course. And if you guys are ready, we can discuss about the agenda or the plan. Can we start? Yes, DevOps team can test and deploy the application. Here we are going to test and deploy our model. So that is MLOps. Can we start with the agenda? Yes, are we clear till now? So going into the agenda, watch carefully. The first half, like the first 4 days, we are going to use it to get ready with our AWS. Okay, introduction to Amazon Web Services is what we are going to do. Okay, so we need to like aware of this environment, right? And this entire machine learning, I am going to use AWS services, and the notebook is Jupyter notebook, which is actually from AWS Sagemaker. So we are completely dependent on AWS. We need to be aware of the workflow inside AWS. So in day 1, it's introduction and account creation, and in day 2, it's virtual machines, how to create Linux, how to create Windows. Okay, in AWS we'll be doing that, and then like we'll be discussing about VPC, Elastic Beanstalk and all. Then in day 3, we'll be discussing about AWS Lambda, Docker container, Elastic Container Service and Elastic Kubernetes Service. And in day 4, we'll be discussing about the data storage options such as RDS, DynamoDB and S3. S3 is an important service. These are all for storage. So in this 4 days, you will be completely aware to use the AWS account. Okay, and you will be knowing what things do which process and all. Okay. After knowing this, we move into the important part of machine learning. On day 5, we'll be discussing a proper depth introduction to machine learning, and machine learning, how to do it with AWS service called as Sagemaker. Okay. Then in day 6, we discuss about data collection, Pandas for machine learning, and then day 7 is Numpy for machine learning, and day 8 is Matplotlib and Seaborn for machine learning. And day 9 is AWS Data Wrangler, which is a service to do handling data pre-processing. And day 10 is machine learning feature scaling, encoding, handling null values. And day 11 we go with outlier detection and handling, feature selection, train test split. These are machine learning parts. And day 12 is for data pre-processing with SageMaker's Scikit-Learn container. So now we start integrating with SageMaker sklearn container. Then day 13 is for modeling, model evaluation, and 14 is for SageMaker built-in machine learning algorithms. So these machine learning algorithms, SageMakers have their own machine learning algorithms. We'll be utilizing that as well. And day 15 is our first project, a machine learning classification project on vehicle insurance claim fraud detection. And day 16 is machine learning project on regression on abalone age prediction. And day 17 is for a clustering unsupervised learning project, as well as AWS Sagemaker canvas, which is machine learning with no coding. So once we learn everything, we also use a AWS service, which is a software as a service. They provide a software where you can upload the data and get prediction simply. And then the last 4 days, once we learn the AWS and machine learning, we are going into machine learning operations, where in day 18 we deploy model with AWS SageMaker, and day 19 is for the CI/CD pipeline with SageMaker, and day 20 is census income prediction project model with deployment on AWS. This is MLOps. And day 21 it is music rating recommender system project with deployment, and that will wind up our 21 days masterclass. So I hope the agenda is clear and we move towards why AWS. So AWS, why? Okay, you have Azure, you have Google Cloud. Why I prefer AWS? It is a leading cloud service provider. It provides lot of services. It is reliable, secure, cost effective, and you can go global in minutes, and comprehensive machine learning services for the entire workflow. And if you ask me, you can train your model, you can store your data, you can experiment, you can register your model, you can perform CI/CD pipeline, deployment, monitoring. Entire machine learning operations workflow can be done with SageMaker AWS. That's why we prefer. And if you ask me, is AWS reliable? Can I believe AWS? Because you are going to deploy your model, or this is in real time scenario, you are going to deploy your company here. Okay, is AWS reliable? Can you believe it? Let me tell you a simple story. It's a funny one. Example, consider this. You are having a cat and you are taking a picture of it, and you are going to store it in your hardware, in your laptop. Okay, so once you store it, later on if you try to access it, you can get it, right? You are storing it in your local system, and someday if your system got something corrupted or something happened to this hardware, what happens? You can't take this picture. Just for example, you can't get this picture, right? Instead, if you store it in cloud, maybe in AWS or in Google Drive, what happens is, what they do, if you upload your picture, they are going to store it in their data center. It is somewhere located. Okay, so if you want, okay, what you can do, you can get that picture later on. But consider this scenario where something happens to that data center. Maybe they have a data center at some part, some earthquake happens or some alien attack happens. So this data center is completely vanished, completely destroyed. What will happen? What will happen? So your data is gone, right? So your entire infrastructure is gone, your data will be lost. So to avoid this, what AWS do is, they have multiple data centers, not only one. You have other data center as well. They will be connected. So one copy is done in another one. Okay. So it will be in different location. Multiple data center will be available. So even if one goes down, you can get it from the other data center. And this collection of data center is called as availability zone. Okay. So you have one data center in some, like, not in an entirely different location, with some distance you have another data center, and this is called as availability zone. Okay. So you can tell me, what if this availability zone goes down? Okay, you will be getting, to overcome that, for example, if you have a data center or availability zone which is in one particular country, and something happens to the entire country, so what they do is, they have multiple availability zone interconnected, and the interconnected availability zone, if you have cluster of availability zone, it is called as a region. Okay, it is called as a region. And right now the AWS cloud spans 99 availability zone with 31 geographic regions around the world. You have 99 availability zone and 31 geographic regions, and a cluster of data center is called as availability zone, and a cluster of availability zone is called as a region. And before continuing, if you want to convert this masterclass into 1 month certified internship on AWS machine learning operations with AWS. You can convert this into 1 month certified internship. You will be getting 30 days of live sessions, 90 days of access to the records, 6+ source code projects of AWS and MLOps, 30 downloadable PPTs, 5 mentor live and mastermind sessions in Zoom where you can directly interact with me and clarify your doubt, internship confirmation letter, and then internship certification. When you complete this internship, you can get all these benefits at a discounted fee at $799. The original registration fee is $1,999, and we have a limited offer to join as this internship. You can join as an internship user at a discounted fee at $799. The registration link is posted in chat box. So if you join this, you will be getting all the benefits. It is a 30-day. So apart from these 4, you will be getting, for example, you have additional contents with AWS Glue, along with that Sagemaker, Data Wrangler, and then we also have contents on deep learning projects such as dog or cat identification project, neural network, RNN, NLP basics, CNN basics, and a NLP project, e-commerce customer review project, as well as we also have machine learning operations, which is detailed starting from Git and GitHub, version control with Git and GitHub, and then model deployment with SageMaker, as well as AWS AI services. So it is a 30-day package, 1 month internship. You can learn it entirely in depth from the scratch, along with GitHub and other services as well, and all these things at that discounted fee at $799. So we have projects such as vehicle insurance, claim fraud detection, Avalon age prediction, clustering project with SageMaker Canvas, census income prediction with deployment, and music rating recommender system with deployment. And this is how the deployment will look like. The CI/CD pipeline, we will be creating a pipeline to train our model. It will be running, and after that it will undergo deployment stage for testing as well. So once the testing is done, and if you review it, and once the review is done and approved, you can deploy your model into production. So entire pipeline, we learn it from scratch, and you can get all these things at a discounted fee at $799, and you can register for this internship. It's a small investment towards your future, and you can search for the jobs regarding MLOps. It is in huge demand nowadays. You can get certified, 1 month certified internship, and you can get these benefits at this discounted fee, and the link is posted in chat box. And this is the detailed 30-day agenda. You can learn it from scratch and get benefits. You can download the project files. You can get all these things, PPTs, downloadables as an internship benefit, as well as 5 Zoom session to directly interact with the mentor and clarify your doubts. We'll be having it on every weekend. So we continue. As we discussed, we have data center. A cluster of data center is called as availability zone, and a cluster of availability zone is called as a region. Okay, and we have multiple region. Okay, we have 31 geographic region, and we have 99 availability zone. You can see even in India we have 2. We have one in Mumbai and one in Hyderabad. And if everything is gone down, okay, then like you can't have a scenario where everything goes down. Okay, so we have these things around the world, and everyone is going to store your data. So even if one goes down, you can get the picture of your cat, as well as you can run your company at the same time. Okay, fine. So how to select this AWS region? You can select. Okay, so if you want, you can deploy your application into some service or some region. You have different region, country based region as well. So how to select this? First, based on compliance, and then latency, and then cost and services and features. Talking about compliance, some countries have some restrictions. Maybe they don't, like some countries have restrictions such as their data should be present in their country only. So what in such scenario? We don't have it in India right now. So if a law comes that in such scenario we will be able to use only the data center which is in India. If we don't have any law like that, we can store it in some other place as well. Latency. So if you have something in India, you can get it faster compared with you have a data center which is in USA, right? So there is some distance, and the latency in MS is also should be considered. Yes, I will be showing how to make a AWS account. Please wait. And then cost. Okay, so for the servers, as we discussed, it is pay as you go pricing. And for this entire internship, we will be doing mostly the free tier services. And if we are using any paid service, I will give you a warning. So if you don't want to pay, you don't want to try that. Okay, you can listen and don't practice that. I will be giving you some disclaimer that if it is a paid service, I'll tell you. If it is free, I'll tell you how to use it free. That's how entire internship we are going to go. And based on some service and features, some services are given first to America or US based data centers and regions. So if you want to try out that, you have to go in that place. Then only they will be giving the trial version to some part of region, and once it is success, they will be deploying it to all the regions. So we'll be doing that. So yeah, so continuing with our session on, this is how the entire pipeline will look like once we complete in AWS. This is how we deploy our model, and we'll be getting an API to invoke our model. So you can give that to our client and they can use that API to get predictions. Okay, that's how the deployment works. And now going into free tier AWS, you have to pay whatever you use, but they also give you a free tier option, which is you can use free trials, 12 months free, always free, but the entire thing is free. But if you are going to use some process or some service, you have to choose some options, and there will be some free tier. You have to select that. If you accidentally selected something else, you have to pay for what you have used. And there are some ways. If you accidentally used something, you can ask the support team and get waived for it. Okay, so that you can also do. And let us see how to do AWS account creation. For that, you can go into your browser, and this is console. Search for AWS account creation. Okay, so you can create AWS free cloud computing account. You have to go into this place. I already logged in, so I have to sign into console. You will be having create a new account. Okay, so you can click that, and it will ask you first page. It is going to ask you sign up for AWS. You have to enter root user email ID, which is your main email address. You can enter your email ID here. You can enter your username here, and you can click verify email address. What it does is it is going to give a verification code to your email. So you have to enter the verification code in the next page and click verify. So once it is done, it will take you to a 5-step process. So the next process, first step is you have to create a password, enter your password, and then continue. So once password is done, you have to select. Okay, so this, whether you are using it for business or personal. We are doing it for business. We are doing it for personal. So you can go with personal, and you can write your full name and your phone number and country detail, address and all. Okay, then after that it will take you into the payment. Don't worry, this is a preliminary payment for just verification. It's for security verification, and you have to pay something like 1 or 2 rupees. When I did or created my account, it has debited 1 rupee, and then it has given me back in 2 days. It's for verification. Okay, so they tell that $1 or equivalent amount in local currency. It's not the exact conversion, not 80 rupees, it's just 1 rupee, and they want debit amount without your knowledge. So you have to enter, you have to mandatorily go with credit or debit card number for verification. So you have to fill that detail. 1 rupee will be debited, and then you can create your account. It will be given back to you. Okay, so after that we have another step. It is going to ask you for phone number, and it will do that OTP verification. Enter the security code. Once you enter the security code, you go into the 5th part. Okay, so you have to select whether it's for personal use, and owner type is individual. You are not running a company, so you can give individual. Okay, finally you have this 5th part. Please be careful, don't go with any of these. Go with basic support, which is free. We are practicing, we don't want a developer support or business support, which is very cost high. We just need a free basic support, which is free, completely free. We can select this and complete the sign up. So once you complete the sign up, this will come. Congratulations, go to the AWS management console. So if you click that, you will come into this page, which is your home page of your console. This is our AWS home page. Let us explore this. Okay, so this is our AWS, where recently visited services are here. Okay, and you can go and get some insights here, but the important part is you can click this services. You will be seeing for AWS they give, for analytics they give all these services, for application integration they give these services, for blockchain, for business application, for cloud financial management, computing, containers, database, developer tools, game development, machine learning. We have machine learning where we have Sagemaker and other services as well. We have Sagemaker here. This is what we'll spend a lot of our time. And then other services as well, they provide storage services. All the services which we are discussing will be available here, as well as you can search the service here like Sagemaker. So I'll be getting the suggestions and I can click that to go into that service. And don't use any of these things before learning. Okay, come back, you can click this icon to come back once again into the home page. Fine. And if you look at the right corner, I have my account name here. Near to that I have Mumbai here. That is my region. So if I click that, I can select and switch between regions. Okay, so they have allowed you some regions, and there are 12 regions which are not enabled for us, and we have Hyderabad there, so which means in India we are not allowed to use that. We are allowed to use these. Okay, we have Mumbai here. You can switch between this. Maybe if I want to connect to Singapore, I can click that. It is going to take me into the Singapore region. Okay, and they differ based on region. If you create a service here, that won't be available on other region, so you have to be stick with one, and I prefer Mumbai for now, so I go into that. So this is how we select the region, and availability zone is automatically done, so we don't want to worry about that. So finally in this session, after account creation, I just want to discuss about AWS budget. With that we'll wind up this session. Okay, so what does AWS budget is? It is a service which is going to give you alerts, or you can create a budget, and if your cost exceeds beyond that, it is going to give you a mail alert. You can check it here. Okay, so you can create a budget, get alerts whenever you are exceeding it. You can respond with action. Maybe if you accidentally used some service and it is costing you, okay, so you can get the alert and you can go and stop that. So that is AWS budgets. And going into the service, let me search for budgets, billing and cost management. You can click that. So under billing and cost management, if you scroll below and find this option which is called as budget, in the left side you can click that. It is going to open the budget. Okay, you can set custom budget that alerts you when you exceed your budget threshold. So you can click create a budget. So I suggest you to go with the user template. Okay, so you have the option of template such as zero spend budget, which means even if you accidentally spend $0.01, it is going to give you alert. Okay, or if you are not planning, like you are planning like I can spend $5 this month, you can go with monthly cost budget, and you can give a name, and it is entered $100. I don't have that. I just go with just $5 is my maximum. So if I reach $5, just give me alert. You can give the mail ID. For example, I give my mail ID support. Okay, so for this mail I will be getting the alert. So once this is done, if you want zero spend, you can click that. If you don't want to spend anything, even if you spend something, it is going to give you alert. If you go with monthly cost, whatever the cost you have entered, if you go beyond that, it will give you alert. And let me create this budget, and you have created this budget. So once you go into the budgets, you will be getting this. You can see the budget I have set it as $5, and right now I have used $0.06, and it is even forecasting what will I spend, and you can see I have just spent at 1.12%. So if I exceed this, I will be getting red color here that I have exceeded that. At the same time, I will be getting an alert mail as well. So that's how. And if you accidentally used something, the AWS is not going to stop it. Okay, so what they do is they give you alert if you have budget, and you have to stop whatever you are using. Okay, you can even get the support from their support team, but okay, it is better if you are a beginner. Every day you come into your AWS account, you want to go into the budgets and search and check whether the budget is under the cost or not. Okay, go scroll below, go into the budget, check if everything is okay. So in some day if you find that it has exceeded, you have to find how to stop it and how to revert it back. Okay, so that is budgets. And don't play anything with the service. Create this account. We'll see in the next session. So that's it for today. In the next session we continue, and before winding up, if you are planning to convert this masterclass into 1 month certified internship on machine learning operations with AWS, you can join as an internship user. You will be getting benefits such as 30 days of live sessions, 90 days of access to all the records, 6 plus source codes of AWS projects, 30 downloadable PPTs, all the code files of the project, 5 mentor Zoom session where you can directly interact with me and clarify your doubts every week, internship confirmation letter when you join this internship to show in your college, and then internship certification when you complete this internship. So you can get all these benefits at a discounted fee at 799. The registration link is posted in chat box. So if you join as an internship user, it is a 1 month internship. You get a separate agenda, you get 30-day contents. So you also have contents on deep learning as well, NLP projects with that, and then machine learning operations with version control, GitHub, AI services along with our MLOps, entirely a package of 30 days at this discounted fee at 799. And you will also get project files of vehicle insurance claim fraud detection, abalone age prediction, clustering project, deployment of census income prediction, music rating recommender. And this is how the pipeline will look like. We'll be creating pipeline for the model deployment. So once you approve it, it is going to be deployed to the client. It will be in production. So you'll be getting the link where you can use it as a API to make prediction, and you can test your model continuously. And that's it. So you can register by clicking on the link which is given in chat box. You can register for the internship and convert it into 1 month internship on AWS MLOps. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow in the next session. I hope you guys got some idea about machine learning operations, AWS and account creation. So if you got the ideas, please post down something that you got learned something today. Thank you. Thank you all guys. Thank you.